with Doug Eichner, and you weren't playing out there, were you? I mean, he just beat everyone hands down right from the start to the end. Can you talk about it from the beginning? What was it like? Losing your voice from a little winded.
Yeah, no, I'm just catching a cold or something.
Oh, for humidity.
Something, catching a bug. But well, the track was really, really soupy out there. We had a big downpour right before, about an hour before our race. We ran our same ITP tires in the rear, but we changed front ones to a little more aggressive tire. The Duncan Golden West Cycle IMS Honda 450
It
just got me out front. You know, I got a great hole shot. Right. You know, and in a muddy race like this, that's what you want to do. You want to get out front and make everybody try to pass you, and you know, and make no mistakes. And
I mean, no, it wasn't even a race. Once you're out front, you're just gone. I mean, I thought, well, this guy's 40 years old. He's a little older than the rest. He's probably going to tire or something, and somebody's going to come and challenge him. It wasn't the case. It was like you were the young guy and they were the older guy. I mean, should I bring up age at all? I mean, it seems like age doesn't matter to you.
No, you're only as young as you feel, and you know, and at heart I feel like I'm 16 still. But you know, Lenny Duncan, my mechanic, had my Honda 450 with an Elka suspension on it, set up great, you know, and the IMS roll A-arms and steering stem and stuff in the bike. The bike just worked great for me.
Are they treating you well here at ESPN, or?
These guys are awesome. They're coming down and bringing us water, ice. You know, they're just doing a great job with this, and I just hope it goes off really good for them, because it's going to be a big deal.
You raced back in the Mickey Thompson era, and how does that compare? You raced all of those. In fact, you're a champion, Mickey Thompson champion. What was that,
1993?
93?
Yep, I won the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Series Championship in 1993, and then I won the very last Mickey Thompson Off-Road Championship they had in Seattle, Washington. I'm still out here racing now, and Donnie Banks is out there promoting the race and building the track for us, and I used to race with Donnie, and we used to have a good old time, so it's good to see Donnie again. What
a cool story. Well, you've been to plenty of Mickey Thompsons. How is this compared to I know Mickey Thompson events were incredible on their own. Do the tracks compare, or does anything compare? I mean, the tracks are similar?
Well, the tracks are not really anywhere similar. This is a real sandy soil. Okay. Most of the Mickeys were a real clay stuff, so you run either a kind of a Hoosier or something. Right. You know, this sandy soil, we're running the biggest knobbies we can. It's still mainly for the people that are watching. You know, they mainly do it for the they want to put on the best show as possible. Right. So it's still not quite as much of a race as you'd regularly find like the national stuff. It's more kind of just mainly for TV. They want to put on a good show. So in that state, it is the same as the Mickeys.
Right on. Hey, you've raced a lot of different events, man. From the 12 Hours of France at the Ponte Vaux to, man, every type of race there possibly could be. Over all the years, you've stuck with Duncan Racing, and you've made a name for yourself with Duncan Racing. I don't know what I'm getting at here. I just wondering what's it like to be with one sponsor the whole career. You know, a lot of guys every other year they're with somebody else. What do you have? I think you're the only one that's been with somebody that long. Maybe Tim Farr with Baldwin Motorsports. But anyway, Duncan all the way through. I mean, can you talk a little bit about your career?
You know, I started racing for Duncan Racing in 92, and they're just one of the best sponsors. You know, I'm a pretty easygoing guy, and they're just one of the best sponsors out there. We really get along great, and things just work out great for us. And like I said, they're good sponsors, and I moved to California to be more near them. I lived in Washington State at the time, and moved down to California to advance because of Duncan Racing, and to advance my quad racing career, because there wasn't a whole lot in Washington State going on. And they're just a great sponsor, and they've just been with me the whole time, and I helped them as much as they've helped me. You know,
I definitely consider you a legend of our sport, and it's because of that involvement and those things that you made. Some people wouldn't have had the guts to move down to California and go for this thing wide open. They just play around in the home state. But I'm pretty proud of you. Hey, we're talking about Duncan Racing. We happen to have, to our left here, if we could pan over, the guy behind Duncan Racing is Loren Duncan. He said some pretty nice things about you. I know you, and I know it's likewise. I've heard you talk on Doug here. It's a relationship that's been probably tighter than any, maybe like I go back to Tim Farr and Mark Baldwin. Other than those two in our sport, this is the tightest niche relationship I've come across. it's pretty. I don't really have a question. I'm just reminding the readers what you've done for this guy here on my right. Pretty inspirational. Hey, you don't need to talk on that. We've got that, but I'm going to ask you your feelings on this whole event. What's Doug's chances on this now that he's come off a good confident level coming out of that thing and going into the main? What kind of chances Duncan and Doug Eichner have tomorrow?
If Doug got the whole shot like he did today, he could win it.
That's what I was thinking you'd say.
Most definitely. I mean, you've seen how much he pulled out, and I think he
absolutely ran away with it.
He took it very conservative.
Mm-hmm. And he's got the smarts too to handle the situation that comes. What else can we talk about? I'm going to hog the microphone over here with Doug a little bit.
Well, I think in the last 15 years, Doug Eichner's won more quad races worldwide than anybody, and he just has the seat time and experience to adapt to the conditions.
Right.
You know, he had a little struggle just getting things dialed in practice, but when it was crunch time, you know, and when things are not perfect, that's when Eichner shines.
That's true.
You know, when you got bad conditions, or it's hot, or it's raining, and
yeah, I've noticed that about him at some of the endurance races too. When somebody can't ride, there he is at the Bajas and all the desert races and the stuff that he's been in. Pretty cool to be sitting between the two of you.
Well, that's one thing that I think a lot of these younger riders could learn from a guy like Eichner is, you know, when the going gets tough, you need to just suck it up, and that's kind of been Doug's career. When there's been a lot of times when he could have folded his tent, and he still would have won a lot of races, but you know, you can always count on Doug for a maximum effort, regardless of the situation, and that's kind of the motto of Duncan Racing.
Right.
No matter what, we give 150% effort to Doug or every customer or every other rider we ever had, and that's why we've worked so good with Doug, because it's an unwritten rule. He's given his maximum effort, and so are we, and it just works.
Hey, you talk about a veteran versus some of these young guys. To go back and change the subject for a minute, some of these young guys, do you think you've been around the sport forever, from its beginning? Do you think they appreciate something like this versus, I know all smiles over here, appreciates and knows what this is going to do for our sport? You think some of these younger guys know it too, or what's your feeling on that?
Maybe a little bit. I don't think. I think they're kids, and you know, I don't really fault them for being kids, because when you start having to worry about ratings and bringing in sponsors and paying the bill, you know, there's a lot of very talented kids here that dad's just writing a check and they're out having a great time, and you know, let them enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, when they get older and they got families to raise and businesses to run, things are going to change for them, but let's not burst their bubble today, you know. As long as they conduct themselves with professionalism and put out a best effort, that's all you need these kids to do.
Maybe they'll view this and be reminded of where the sport was and how lucky they really are to be a part of something that I think is going to be big as the bikes after this thing goes the way it's going. What they're going to do for the TV and how wonderful it's going for the whole sport. So I think they'll respect it. But yeah, they weren't there for the era that it almost dissolved. But they're here now, and this thing's going places. Well, anything in closing you might want to say for our readers?
We'd just like to thank ESPN for their outstanding hospitality. I think that they have been a professional class act, and it's refreshing. It's really refreshing, and I think that all of the ATV community has very much appreciated it.
Right, I totally agree. Well said. Okay, we'll talk to you later, and hopefully from the winner's circle.
And thanks to ATV Scene for making the effort to come here and support our sport as always.
Hey, that's good of you to say. We appreciate that.
Important.
We appreciate that.
You guys are the pioneer on the online magazines, and you have brought a lot of information to a lot of readers worldwide, and
wow,
and it's important. You know,
I'm getting
important.
Shivers because coming from Loren Duncan, that's pretty huge. Thank you, Loren. Doug, we'll close this thing up. What's your expectations tomorrow? What are you going to go and focus in? You're going up to that line. What are you going to do?
You know, I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can do. Like Loren said, I'm just going to have to go out there and get a good start.
Right.
And, you know, make everybody, you know, try to pass me. I came out here and to support Duncan Racing and all my other sponsors, and to come out here and have a good time. It's mainly why I still race, is because I enjoy it so much, and because Duncan Racing has made it enjoyable for me. And you know, I just hope to get out there and do a good job for my other sponsors. They need it. I show them the appreciation too.
You already did it today, but being at all the races you've gone to, one last question, I know we got to wrap this thing up, but being at all the races you've gone to over the years, this one's pretty big. Are you nervous at all when you're off the gate?
You know,
this kind of experience that you have, do you get nervous anymore?
You know, a lot of people say they get butterflies. I hate to say anymore. I get a little bit nervous, but I don't get butterflies anymore. It's all about concentrating on what you got to do now. I mean, you know, concentrating on that gate dropping and what you're going to do, and getting to that first corner as fast as you can, and then just, you know, keeping a view on what you got to do out and on the track. You know, it's a mental thing, really. You got to really be mentally focused on what you're doing.
All right, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll be rooting you on from the sidelines. And thanks for talking to us, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay.